The other top international story, multinational crews continue to search for the wreckage of AirAsia Flight 8501. But another day of bad weather hindered the efforts to locate the black box flight data recorders, which could reveal why the plane crashed. Meanwhile, recovery teams pulled more than 20 bodies from the Java Sea, bringing the total number of recovered victims to 30. 162 people were on board the flight, which was an Airbus 320, which went down on Sunday. For a discussion of what could have possibly brought the plane down, we turn now to pilot and retired air traffic controller Terence Cusack, who joins us from Madison, Alabama. Terence, thanks so much for joining us during this holiday week.
Hi, you're welcome, Gary.
Now, no two crashes are alike, but it does seem that this particular tragedy has some very familiar characteristics: rough weather, a request to change direction or altitude, flying out over the water. Is there anything right now that investigators are pointing to or leaning in the direction of in terms of what may have been the cause of this?
Well, I've heard interviews with some pilots, and they were quite concerned about the fact that near thunderstorms, of course, you can run into icing and hail and things like that, and that possibly could be a factor. Also, if they wanted to climb, and apparently they did, as you get higher, if you're getting any kind of a bad reading on your airspeed, it's pretty touchy. These aircraft have a very narrow envelope to operate in, and if you get below a certain speed, they basically stall and drop. It has to do with the wing, the airspeed over the wing, and if they got a false reading because of ice or something that they were in, they could possibly have wound up below flying speed. But that's, just conjecture until we actually have the wreckage and see what it's like. It'd be hard to tell. Turbulent thunderstorms is also a problem.
It is all, as you said, speculation, but in the recovery of some of the bodies, it is now being reported that some of the souls are being found strapped to their seats. Does that give us any indication of what the final moments of this flight may have been like in terms of profile, or whether or not this aircraft was intact when it hit the water?
Probably not, because even getting into very light turbulence, the first thing they do is put the sign on. They don't want anybody bounced around and injured, including cabin staff. And at the first sign of turbulence, they always turn it on and people strap in. So that alone wouldn't help a whole lot in determining things. How the aircraft went down, whether it was intact or God forbid it broke up in the air. That will determine the range of the debris field. Will tell them a lot.
Indonesian air safety now seems to be the center, or at least the ground zero, to borrow the phrase, of concerns, at least in the aviation industry. 31% of all air travel either flies into or out of this region. Is there something that you're hearing about in the industry that is a cause for concern?
No, not particularly. I think, my recollection, this airline had a very good record, and the aircraft that they were using has certainly proved itself. Just about any aircraft has, some accident or incident history, but this one was not particularly out of whack. And until they find the debris field, that's going to be the key.
Aviation expert Terence Cusack, thank you so much for joining us on Arise America tonight.
You're welcome very much.